things are about to get pretty interesting in the US smartphone market. There could be a serious market disruption happening in 2025 if reports and future projections are anything to go by. We've had some wild news and there's even data to back this up. I am seriously excited for this. Hey guys, I'm Ryan Thomas, and for a very long time in the United States, it's sort of been the Samsung and Apple show when it comes to smartphones. Actually, mostly Apple, but forget about that for a minute. Google has ironically been the plucky underdog in the handset race, and OnePlus is trailing far behind both of those at the moment. But Samsung and Apple seem to have been flagging in the past year or so, releasing some pretty iterative updates to its already pretty formulaic phones. In fact, if rumours and leaks are anything to go by, and let's be honest, as of recent they've been pretty good, next year's Galaxy S25 Ultra is going to be more of the same, at least from a hardware perspective. That's not necessarily a bad thing considering the past few generations of these phones have been very good phones, but to some this could make the flagship feel a little stale, and the duopoly that these guys have might actually get disrupted next year. I say that because data from Counterpoint Research shows that Google has enjoyed a pretty hefty jump in year-on-year shipments between Q3 2023 and Q3 2024, with Samsung and Apple actually having lost a little bit in that same time. These numbers might seem pretty small on the surface, but 20% jump is not anything to be sniffed at. The Pixel 9 Pro XL seems to be the biggest hitter, making waves in the US smartphone market, and it's great to see that someone other than Apple or Samsung is making a dent. Google was focused heavily on marketing its exclusive features and even quotes in its Pixel 9 ad, "Remember when all smartphones did the same stuff? Until they didn't?" The company knows that it needs to offer something different to the competition, and that can't be done from Samsung's point of view. And with Google's monumental software and AI divisions, it makes sense to utilize that and market features that others just don't have right now. This is clearly working, especially in the US. The Pixel 9 series under the hood wasn't a great departure from the less popular phones that Google had released before. Its processor is still behind the competition, the screen sizes, resolutions and refresh rates are all very similar, and there is no new groundbreaking camera hardware on offer. It conformed to some trends like increasing the screen brightness to make it way more viewable out in direct sunlight and harsher conditions, and implemented flat sides like the iPhone because people generally seem to really like that form factor and the design that I find really strange, but it seems to be working. Google also listened to the community and fixed a fair few bugbears that people had, such as replacing the slow and unreliable fingerprint scanner with a much more advanced ultrasonic one. It put the Pro camera features into the smaller phone that fits in way more people's hands and pockets, and Google significantly improved battery life with this generation to make it far more competitive with the Samsungs and Apples of the world. OnePlus has also been making waves, but in a slightly different way. As you all probably know, I'm a big fan of the 12, and it will go down along with the Pixel 9 Pro for me as probably the best phone of this year. OnePlus has launched its shiny new 13, exclusively in China right now, with it likely coming to the West in the new year, and it looks absolutely insane. Get this, 6,000 mAh battery with 100 watt wired and 50 watt wireless charging, triple 50 megapixel rear cameras, including a massive main sensor, all with Hasselblad color, a big Quad HD 120Hz AMOLED screen, and the new Snapdragon 8 Elite with 12, 16, or get this, 24 gigs of RAM and 256, 512 or even 1 terabyte of storage. On top of that, the flat sides that so many people were really clamoring for, the alert toggle, the ultrasonic fingerprint reader, and of course Android 15. This thing looks seriously good, and if it follows the trajectory of the 10 through the 12, along with the AI promises that OxygenOS 15 seems to get, this could be a proper ultra competitor to people who aren't just OnePlus fans. This looks absolutely elite. I mean, the OnePlus 12's 5400 mAh battery is already a two-dayer for me, and with more than a 10% increase in battery size, the OnePlus 13 sounds like a recipe for a good time, and I'll finally stop getting those phantom touches with the flat display. Can you tell I'm excited about this? This video is of course squarely aimed at the US because here in the UK, in Europe and in the East, we have access to far more options. Companies like Xiaomi, Oppo, Vivo, Huawei, Honor, they've all been making some pretty interesting smartphones for a long while now with crazy spec sheets and unique hardware and software features that Apple and Samsung just don't include in their devices. And these phones tend to diversify and shake up the smartphone market in these regions, where there is less of a duopoly despite Apple and Samsung still having a pretty strong market share. The iPhone 16 Pro Max and Galaxy S24 Ultra are two behemoths packed with specs and features, and you know what? They sold and will sell very well going forward because it's Apple and Samsung, guys. I gave both pretty decent reviews, but ultimately came to very similar conclusions. They aren't all that interesting. And when you consider these other companies are offering something just a bit different, I see a world where more people in the US pick something else. The balance is to make something that stands out and is interesting with unique features, but not so detached from the norms and trends that people just don't want to buy it. I think Google has done a fantastic job of creating a blend in those areas, and that's why its phones have sold so well. Over here in the UK, there's been a seriously strong uptick in Pixel phones. Those I know who are or aren't even techie people who have switched from Samsung, Apple, Motorola, OnePlus, they've had nothing but good things to say about the new Pixels because their phones now have built-in AI and don't cost a fortune because there have been some really great carrier deals over here. And even if Google and OnePlus don't convince the majority of the US to buy their new phones, it's likely that their rise in popularity could see the big dogs take inspiration from them and create better products from it, a more diverse smartphone landscape. I mean, look at how much progress we made when LG and Sony were more popular, or even still selling smartphones in LG's case. And Huawei didn't have to launch products in the US at all to seriously disrupt and have an impact on devices that would be sold over there. This could be an inflection point to see something new, and that's really exciting. I am seriously looking forward to next year's releases from all the different companies, but particularly from Google and OnePlus, as their 2024 releases have been just outstanding in the Pixel 9 Pro and OnePlus 12. Let's see how things shake up in 2025. This could be a seriously good one. What do you make of the US uptick in Pixel interest, guys? Do you think that this generation has been a massive leap forward? I feel like from a hardware perspective, that definitely hasn't been the case, but with the new AI features, I see so many people deciding to pick one up, and I think I kind of understand it. And similarly, are you excited for the OnePlus 13? Have you seen the videos that are already out there on this phone? It looks ridiculous from a spec perspective. The 12 and the 12R were absolute doozies this year, and I'm sure you're kind of sick of me talking about them at this point. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Whilst you're down there, be sure to hit like if you enjoyed today's content, and subscribe to never miss another upload. I've been Ryan Thomas, and I will catch you later. Cheers.